Did you know that 61% of African American children have experienced a traumatic event in their life? 51% of Latinx children will have at least one adverse childhood experience compared to 40% of their white peers. My name is Anaya Lewis, and today I want to talk to you about the power of youth building resilience after they've experienced trauma. Now meet Lauren. Lauren is a fifth grader from Silver Springs, Maryland. She has dreams and aspirations of being a judge one day, and she's very involved in her community with sports and dance and all types of clubs. There are some obstacles that Lauren faces, though. Lauren grows up in a single-parent household. Her father has been incarcerated since she was 3 years old, and she's heavily involved in her after-school program, which we will refer to as Latchkey. It's important to also mention that Lauren is the only person of color in her after-school program. So as I mentioned, Lauren has faced some obstacles, and in the sociology field, we call them adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. ACEs are defined as any traumatic event that has occurred in a child's life before the age of 18. Nearly half the children in America have experienced ACEs that can severely harm their future health and well-being. Some of the effects of ACEs can include depression, anxiety, heart issues, substance abuse, or many other addictive behaviors. Some examples of ACEs include bullying, poverty, food insecurity, experiences of racism, domestic violence, or parental incarceration. Out of the list here, Lauren has experienced 8 of these. Now, I would like to introduce you to Nicole, who is Lauren's mom. Nicole has been a single mom since Lauren was born. She works 60-plus hours weekly to not only make ends meet for her daughter, but also for herself. And she utilizes supplemental school programming, such as Latchkey and other community resources to assist with Lauren. It's also important to mention that Nicole has experienced adverse childhood experiences as well. With that being said, it can be assumed that the cycle of trauma is perpetuated in their family. So there are several ways to deal with the trauma that you've experienced or that you've faced. But one way I want to talk about today is the social emotional learning approach. Social emotional learning, or SEL, is comprised of 5 skills: self-management, self-awareness, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, or social awareness. Now imagine if Lauren had the proper self-management skills to actively and effectively communicate her needs. And imagine if Nicole was self-aware enough to be able to realize that she needs help and she needs resources from her community to assist with raising Lauren. So another branch of social emotional learning would be the transformative approach. Now, the transformative approach is an approach that helps youth of color actively understand that their race is a part of who they are. It's a part of their identity. But it also allows them to understand that their race is a larger issue in a larger conversation. With the proper tools and the conversations necessary to deal with racial trauma that youth of color deal with, SEL would be very effective in their life. So, social emotional learning are general life skills that are taught through personal experiences, while the transformative approach are life skills that are taught through facilitating dialogue surrounding social issues and identity. However, they both cultivate skills and environments that advances students' learning and development. So I talked about Lauren and the adverse childhood experiences that she's dealt with. I also talked about the one way she can combat her experiences with social emotional learning. But now I would like to talk about the power that Lauren has, which is her resilience. Resilience is often defined as the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties. Some may refer to it as your comeback story or how you bounce back, but it's important to note that everyone is resilient because we've all overcome some type of adversity. So, because of Lauren's experiences, she was able to gain competence, confidence, connection, character, contribution, the ability to cope, and control. These are known as the 7 C's of resilience. So how can we promote resilience in youth of color who've experienced trauma through social emotional learning practices? First, we can foster safety. Imagine if Lauren had the proper spaces that she felt safe in to talk about her issues and to deal with the traumatic experiences that she's gone through. Second, we can support self-advocacy. This means once Lauren feels safe, she can, after communicating what she's been through, we can encourage her to advocate for herself, to advocate for the needs that she has, and to ask for the resources that she needs. Third, we can embrace resilience. As I mentioned, we've all overcome some type of adversity, some type of trauma, or some type of difficulty. If we as a culture embrace resilience and acknowledge that everyone has a story, I think that will help youth of color. Lastly, we can cultivate equity. Because Lauren and Nicole are people of color, it's important that we as people advocate for them because they are automatically at a disadvantage because of the color of their skin. Now, I would like to reintroduce myself and say, I'm Anaya. I know I introduced myself at the beginning, but I would like to mention that I am Lauren. Similar to Lauren, I was very involved in after-school programming because my mom worked so long hours to make sure she can provide for me. I was in dance, I did softball, I cheered, I did all of the activities. One, because I was curious, but also because I knew I needed somewhere to be after school. Similar to Lauren, I grew up in a single-parent household, and my father was incarcerated when I was 3 years old. From 3 to ages 20, he was incarcerated. Now, the mass incarceration of Black men is another issue in this country, but because I have developed the resiliency, and to be resilient, to stand up here and tell my story today, it is those things that I can recognize that that was an issue for him. So through my adverse childhood experiences, not only did I gain resilience and being able, and the strength to be able to stand up here today, but I get to advocate for youth of color who are just like me, who've dealt with the same issues. In essence of changing the world, I would like to encourage you to not only own your struggle, but realize that the very things that you shy away from, the very things that you're scared to talk about, are the very things that make you who you are today. And because of that, you are resilient. Thank you.